All right, welcome back, everybody. Joe Collins here with you, and I have the pleasure of speaking with the Dublin City Mayor Joshua Kight. Welcome into Dublin News today. We are going to be talking about economic and downtown development opportunities coming up here in the year of 2024. And Mayor, it's a pleasure to have you here with us. Thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule.
Happy to be here. Always glad to talk about the good things going on in Dublin.
Yes, sir. A lot happening here in town, and my wife and I. My wife is from Dublin originally, Mayor Kight, and I am not. And she says now that being here 19 years, I have to claim it. And so, since I claim it, I'm excited to see all the good things you guys have going on downtown.
Yeah. Well, I was, I grew up in Dublin, so I've spent almost all of my life here, and it's really exciting to see all the positive changes that have been going on for a while now. But especially to be able to be a part of that over the last couple of years has been really gratifying.
A lot of fun. You guys have been doing a lot of good work, and we're going to ask you about some of those works in our time today as we run through some of the challenges that may be facing, and not really challenges, but things on the horizon, the vision of what you have, and then, of course, the opportunities that you're working with and you've already worked with. So we'll start. As people know, Mayor Kight in Savannah, the port deepening and expansion there has done a great deal, I believe, in bringing industry to our neck of the woods, our neighborhood. And we have seen industry already landing in Dublin Wise County because of that. How do you feel that that's going to continue to impact not only the industrial and revenue growth in Dublin, but also the communities, the families?
So because of Dublin's location on I-16 and the fact that we have one of the larger population centers on I-16 between Macon and Savannah, it's inevitable that we're going to continue to get these industrial type manufacturing facilities and distribution facilities in Dublin. So, obviously the Hyundai plant that's in the Pembroke area, their suppliers need to locate somewhere in the vicinity because of the way that plant is going to draw in the workforce from the coastal area. Some of those suppliers are looking more towards the Macon area, and Dublin's a logical place for those suppliers to be. So as you're probably aware, Washington has announced that they're locating in Dublin. We had a groundbreaking on that. Woori is another South Korean manufacturer that has opened its facility in Dublin. And the Development Authority is looking at other companies. Most of them are connected to Hyundai, but not necessarily, because we have other benefits of being in our location. The connection between I-16 and 441 makes us a natural point for distribution facilities. So I expect that over the next 2 years, we will continue to see some additional announcements of large industries coming to town. I do feel that that is just one part of an overall economic development strategy, though. There's no doubt that your large manufacturing facilities, your sort of international or national businesses are important to our town. I can just give you a couple of examples if you want me to. We've got two industries, YKK and Best Buy, that pay 15%, roughly 15% of all of Dublin's property taxes. So just think about that. Two large industries are 15%. And then you've got two other industries, Westrock and Darpro, that burn 50% of the natural gas that the city of Dublin sells, which generates millions of dollars of profits that we're able to put back into the city. So you've got four industries that are responsible for a tremendous amount of taxes and revenue that basically subsidizes a lot of the things that we're able to do on quality of life for the whole community. So I think that the point there is that these big businesses can be very beneficial to our community, and they have been very beneficial to our community. What we have to be careful of is that we don't put all our eggs in one basket. Even though it's great that these companies are providing so much revenue for us, we don't want to become dependent on any one particular company. Right. So we've got to kind of spread out our economic development strategy. And we've got some other areas that are very promising and have done really well that I think will continue to do well. And we can talk about those things that are sort of separate from the manufacturing sector that are also looking good for Dublin.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You can't have all those eggs in one basket. That is just a wonderful, wonderful way to phrase the lineup of what we're going to be talking about today.
Yeah.
So Mayor Kight, thank you for that. Now, with new businesses coming to town, and obviously you have this influx of industrial opportunity from international companies, that sets us up for the family and the youth discussion of what's going on in the community. Because some businesses have the mindset of making sure when they locate, or they want to be in a place where those things are prioritized, right? So, with that, family and youth activities are a great focus in growing communities, as we know, Mayor Kite. But what is the vision for your administration to bring more activities for families and children with teenage youth? And can you give any real details around that, what you might be?
Sure. So I think there's several different ways to look at this. One is what do you do with organized recreational activities? And that's primarily done through our Joint Recreation Authority. And the primary place that is done is Southern Pines.
Right.
So as most people know, Southern Pines has got a fantastic complex of ball fields, soccer fields, football fields, and that's really important for the people who live here to have such an incredible facility. Southern Pines, the Rec Authority, is looking at building a gymnasium there, a multi-purpose indoor facility that will be able to handle lots of different kinds of sports, not just basketball, but other types of indoor sports as well. They're constantly looking at ways to invest in different recreational activities at Southern Pines, and I think that's fantastic. What I have tried to focus on at the City of Dublin level is what are we doing with our neighborhood parks, so that there's the sort of the unplanned recreational activities,
Right.
the pickup games, or going to play at a playground, or meeting a group of friends to kick a ball around.
Right.
And are those, or even if you just want to ride a bike or take a walk in a natural environment, I think that is a really important part of the overall quality of life, is having those really great outdoor spaces that maybe you don't have to be part of a team or signed up to go at a particular place and time. You can just go, it's available anytime. So sitting on my desk right here is the Dublin City Parks Master Plan. So that tells you how central this is to what we've been doing over the last year. We're very fortunate that we've received a lot of grant funding, and we have decided as a council and as a city to put a lot of that grant funding into our neighborhood parks. So over this year alone, we're probably going to put about $4 million into improvements at Springdale Park, Hilburn Park, Stubbs Park, Pritchett Park. We've also got over $3 million that's going into the Oconee Gym area and the park around the Roscoe Brower Park and the Oconee Gym. So we're putting millions of dollars into improving our neighborhood parks, just so that people who live in town and live in the neighborhood are going to have a place to go. I'll give you a really small example.
Sure.
I like playing pickleball. I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of a big thing.
Yeah, it is a big thing, right?
Yeah.
And so if you're looking for a place in a neighborhood to play pickleball, there's one place, which is Hilburn. Right. Regularly, pretty much any night of the week, you're going to see the courts will be full, and you're going to have anywhere from 2 to 20 people waiting to play. There are probably well over 100 people a day who go through those courts trying to get an opportunity to play pickleball. And what's interesting about it is it's largely unorganized. It's not through a league. It's not through signing up for times. It's people just showing up to have fun. And you play with whoever's on the court. So, but if you look at the courts, they're in terrible condition, and there's not enough of them. So as part of this plan, we will be working with Middle Georgia State University to resurface their old tennis courts that have been closed for a long time for new pickleball courts there. They're going to pay for the lighting, we'll pay for the resurfacing, and they'll be open to the public. Hopefully that'll happen in the next couple of months. And then when those courts are open, we're going to redo the Hilburn courts. And right now the subsurface conditions are such that we can't mend or patch the cracks anymore. We got to sort of start over. Now, along with that, at Hilburn and these other parks that I mentioned, Pritchett, Springdale, Stubbs, we're going to be putting in new playground equipment. Almost all the playground equipment at our neighborhood parks is over 20 years old. So all the parks will be getting new playground equipment. Now, I had no idea how expensive playground equipment is, but but it's worth that investment. And if you think of it, if it lasts for 20 years, you got to take that cost, which is very high. It's in the hundreds of thousands of dollars for a modern playground yard or
Right.
set. But you divide that over 20 years and the hundreds of thousands of kids that are going to use it over that 20 years, and it's a great investment. It's the kind of thing you just have to keep putting money into, but it pays off in terms of quality of life.
Well, I tell you what, Mayor Kight, my youngest son is 10. And for Christmas a couple of years ago, we thought it was a great idea. We're like, we're going to go get one of those big backyard, you know, uh, playground sets and swings and all that stuff. And he still would rather go to Southern Pines and play at the
Right.
playground.
Yep.
out
That's
there.
right.
So we just got this big thing sitting in the backyard
Yep.
now. So that's good work you guys are doing.
Well, thank you. And one of the things, just speaking about opportunities, one of the things I'm interested in is making sure that it's not the same playground set everywhere.
Right.
Southern Pines they now have a fantastic playground set out there. One of the things that we're looking at is how we can provide a little bit different playground experience at the different parks. So maybe Springdale gets more of an obstacle course style, and maybe more of a traditional slides playground at Pritchett, and Hilburn maybe theme it around baseball because baseball is so associated with Hilburn Park. So, we're looking at ways to provide a lot of different experiences for people who live in Dublin.
Outstanding. Well, we're going to pause right here.
Okay.
Mayor, we're going to take a quick break. So we'll be back to finish conversations around economic and community development with Mayor Joshua Kight here. We'll be right back.
Hey y'all, I'm Brett Maddox, lead pastor at Pine Forest Methodist Church here in Dublin, Georgia. At Pine Forest Church, you'll find a loving community ready to welcome you with open arms. If you're seeking a deeper relationship with God, looking for a place for you and your family to grow in your faith, or wanting to make a positive impact here in our community, Pine Forest is the place for you. Our church is more than just a building, it's really a family. We come together every Sunday to worship, serve, and share the love of Jesus Christ. From vibrant worship services every Sunday to meaningful Bible studies, youth and children's programs, and outreach initiatives, there really is something for everyone here at Pine Forest. Join us this Sunday and every Sunday at 400 Woods Avenue for our worship service. We gather at 9 a.m. for our contemporary service and 11 a.m. for our traditional service. Come and discover a community where you belong, a place where your faith can flourish, and a mission that reaches the world. For more information, visit us online at pineforestdublin.com. We can't wait to welcome you and your family. Pine Forest Methodist Church, lifting high the name of Jesus here in Dublin, Lawrence County, and around the world.
The historic First African Baptist Church of Dublin, founded in 1867, is the oldest African American church in the city of Dublin. August 16, 2019, our church was added to the National Registry of Historic Places for its rich and prestigious history, whereas on April 17, 1944, a young Dr. Martin Luther King gave a speech entitled The Negro and the Constitution. Our services are held every Sunday at 11 a.m. with Pastor Keith Anderson. First AB Church will celebrate its 157th church anniversary on Sunday, October 27th. Be sure and join us then at First African Baptist Church of Dublin. All right, welcome back into Dublin News this week. Joe Power is here, and I've got the pleasure of speaking with Dublin Mayor Joshua Kight. Mayor Kight, great conversation before the break. Let's continue on now. Talk a little bit about technology. And we were talking about the parks and Southern Pines, and technology today. Everybody's got a cell phone or a tablet, and a kid that's got one in their hands.
Right.
So when families are out playing and doing, what's the vision? What's the future look like for technology in Dublin and community?
A lot of people don't know that the city of Dublin runs its own fiber optic network. Years ago, I don't know how long ago, but 20 plus years ago, the city tapped into the backbone of the internet, which happens to come up in Lawrence County. And so we were able to tap into that and run a fiber optic ring in the Dublin area. And our city government and some of our schools and some of the county government run off of the city's fiber optic network. For some of the larger industries, it provides a redundant network. They may have a regular subscription service, like like you would have in a residence with Charter or somebody like that. The businesses want to back up, so they'll have both the City of Dublin and an AT&T or whatever the provider may be. My business, for example, I've been on City of Dublin fiber network since 2005, so it's worked great for us. It's been primarily aimed at businesses. But what City Council did in its last year was we provided funding to take that fiber optic network out to Southern Pines. And even though how that's going to be used is still developing, what we have done is we have run the fiber optic lines to Southern Pines Park. It's set up at all 4 pods and other areas of the park. And that's going to provide the rec authority the capability to live stream games.
Wow.
So if your kids are out there playing, the grandparents can watch it on the web.
Yeah.
And I don't, you'd have to talk with the rec department to figure out when that is actually going to be activated. They may provide, they are pulling their administrative internet through the City of Dublin fiber network. So we're providing that capability, we're providing that infrastructure, and then the rec department's going to figure out how they're going to utilize that for the sports.
Outstanding. Well, that is such a great thing to hear and to know, considering the activities. And you got a lot of tournaments and people that travel and come down to Southern Pines. And man, that is a great benefit to be able to turn around and send that signal back out maybe for people that want to watch.
Well, you've been in sports broadcasting a long time.
Absolutely, yes.
And I think it's interesting how many people would be interested to see these youth sport games.
Yes, sir.
So I'm going to be very interested to watch how the rec department develops this capability. Using the city's fiber optic network, they're going to be able to stream these games at tournaments. And I think that's going to, who knows what the future is going to bring, but that capability is in place now. So I think that's going to be really exciting.
That is. And I tell you, one of the, as some people may or may not know, Mayor Kight, I have a streaming radio station that I'm turning into a terrestrial radio station. And one of the counties that I carry high school sports for is Wilcox County, Rochelle, Georgia. In the first year of streaming their football games live, we have 43 different states that tuned in to listen to those ball games. Those are people that all had connections some way or another to Rochelle, Georgia, or Middle Georgia.
Well, the new reality is that everybody's connected, everybody's on the internet. What people are hungry for is interesting content.
Exactly.
And sports is the greatest content. It's got built-in drama, it's got personalities on display, it's got competition. And even at the youth level, I think that people are just, it's that content that people like to see.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think I'm really glad that the rec department and the city partnered for that. And like I said, this could go lots of different directions, but that capability is now in place.
Outstanding. Great to hear that. Great to hear that. That leads me to my next question, Mayor. And this is one that's, I know we have a lot of departments and you've got communication staff and people, Downtown Development Authority, people that do a lot of cool events. And as we talk about that ability to share information and share the good works that we're doing, do you see any vision on how Dublin and the city and the government may use these social media platforms to, just make us more attractive and appealing to revenue and to industry and to people that want to live and work and play in that community?
Yeah, so one of the things about the city government is a lot of our work is done through boards, appointed boards or authorities, and sometimes through nonprofits. So to answer your question, we've got the Downtown Development Authority, which markets our downtown, particularly our downtown businesses, but also downtown events. And they put on cultural events and activities, and they have their own website and they have their own promotions budget. And I think that they've done a really good job of creating interest and opportunities for people to listen to live music or go to a festival. They had the Spring Festival. Right. It was supposed to be crawfish, but the crawfish harvest didn't quite work out this year. Next year, I hope that will be back. Yeah. The First Friday concerts, they run Theatre Dublin, which has its own schedule, which has been active. So there's a lot that goes on through that authority. The city also funds Visit Dublin, which is a separate 501c3 nonprofit organization, but we don't actually provide any local taxpayer dollars. We're a pass-through for motel tax that goes into Visit Dublin. So Visit Dublin's responsibility is to market our community to potential visitors, especially, within Georgia or nearby communities that, if it's an hour drive, come see Dublin, so, eat at a different restaurant and see our local sites. So they have recently sort of overhauled their website, and they're continuing to do ad placements in magazines and brochures, and they run the visitor center out of the interstate, which, that's sort of easy pickings.
Yeah.
You get people who are, want to stop for some coffee, or
Right.
the dog park there has been really successful.
Yes.
People wanting a safe place to let the dogs run around. And while they're letting the dogs run around, the staff there is saying, hey, why don't you spend an extra hour in Dublin and go downtown and eat somewhere, or, go see this historic site, or, so I think that that's been very successful. Now, the City of Dublin does have its own website, which our marketing director, Renee, has been working on. And I hope that that's going to be this year. We should see the new website reveal for the City of Dublin. And that's just bringing it, just updating it and refreshing it. So that should happen soon.
Good deal. Good deal. Well, Mayor, one of the things that we've covered right there is the fact that you have a lot of people and a lot of key councils and boards and community partners, I'll say,
Right.
that do a lot of good things
Mhm.
to promote the community. In our community, we also have good individuals who like to do things and try to, just better their neighborhood, their church, what they're doing in civil service, however they're doing
Right.
works, their good works. What is the vision, or how do you feel about conversating and bringing those people to the table so that you don't see siloed or redundant works being done across communities, but bringing people that are, wanting to have that servant's heart together and do good throughout?
Well, the city is always looking to partner with nonprofits, charities, churches that are trying to do something that is good for our town. I think the easiest example is the St. Patrick's Festival Committee.
Yeah.
That's not a City of Dublin committee. That's a separate organization. And for 40 years now, they've run that festival, and we coordinate with them as a city. We make sure that we've got the space available, and the police, and closing the roads, and trash pickup. There's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that has to happen to make that work.
Right.
And you just think about all the hundreds of people who've been involved on a purely volunteer basis to make those St. Patrick's festivals work over the years. But beyond that, if a citizen wants to get engaged individually, obviously if they're part of a group, the group can come to City Hall, talk with us anytime, and we're willing to provide whatever city resources we can to support their mission.
Right.
At an individual level, I think people might be surprised how easy it is to get involved. The easiest way to do it is to come to a council meeting, and if there's a particular thing that you are concerned about or interested in, you'll have your council members there, and myself and staff all convened, at least twice a month.
Right.
And you just grab us and talk to us. Tell us what your idea is. Tell us what you want to accomplish or what you're concerned about. And I think that we're all very receptive to people, to any ideas that somebody can bring in from the public, or anybody who wants to get engaged.
Outstanding. Well, I know it's a fun thing to see when you see people in the community that are, at the park picking up garbage, or just on a day off. I saw a young man, now this was in the county, but I saw a young man just the other day that was in a cemetery that was out there just,
Right.
weed eating and cutting grass, and you can tell that it was something he was doing just
Yeah.
with passion,
Yeah, and we love working with the Boy Scouts too. We have a lot of Eagle Scout candidates who come to the city and say, can we, put bird boxes at the farmer's market, or build a bridge here, or do a box for collecting flags for proper disposal. So we always like working with the Boy Scouts for whatever their projects are. So yeah, I think, there's one of the things that can be frustrating for elected officials, or maybe I just speak for myself, is sometimes you see anonymous comments of complaints.
Right.
or somebody thinks that council should have done this and not that, or spent the money on one thing and not another. Well, you don't have to be anonymous about it. You don't have to put it in the paper. Come and talk to us. Or we want to hear your ideas. And if you need information or want information about why a decision was made a particular way, call and ask, or come to a council meeting and you can hear us talk about it and maybe get some different sides to the story that you didn't know before, some additional facts that may explain things better. So I always encourage any citizen who's got concerns, questions, ideas, give us a call, talk to us. I think all of our council is very excited to be in the roles that they're in, and they take it very seriously, making sure that they're listening to citizen concerns.
That's great advice. And, there's a lot of ways you can join that city council meeting if it's even not in person. I know you guys stream that live.
That's right.
And then I know that there's a replay of those city council meetings. And we're in conversation perhaps to carry those council meetings as well. So a lot of different ways people can find that information to get engaged. So,
yeah.
Absolutely. And that's a great segue, Mayor. I know we're running a little short on time, so I'll try not to keep you much longer.
That's fine.
But what are some of the things that keep you up at night? What are the things that you fret about or think about?
Well, Dublin's got so many positive things happening, and that is very exciting. I don't think that you can. You're not going to get anywhere though if you don't recognize some of the challenges and issues that we face. 1/3 of the population of Dublin still lives in poverty. We still have certain neighborhoods that have gang violence issues. We have quality of life issues related to the amount of traffic that is going through some neighborhoods. So the things that always concern me is, on your level of needs as a person and as a society. Right. I love the quality of life stuff, the parks, and trying to build trails and having recreational opportunities. But at a very base level, you've got to have affordable housing, a safe place for people to live. You've got to have safety. You've got to have people with a sense of confidence that they can walk on the street safely. And that's the thing that probably I think more about. I probably talk less about it because I like talking about the positive stuff, and I really am excited about all the great plans that we have. But the things that I think the most about and probably work behind the scenes the most on is how we can increase the safety, safety of some of the neighborhoods that are still struggling. And I will say this, that I have great confidence in our police department, our public safety, our fire department, and I know that they're working really hard. We have made, I think, tremendous strides over the last couple of years, and we're going to continue to roll out new and innovative programs this year. Everything from the additional flock cameras, the raving cameras, the gunshot detectors, police officers in golf carts doing direct patrols of the streets, increasing that presence, both a technological and a physical presence, to give people a peace of mind that they can live in Dublin safely and enjoy a great quality of life. Which, I'm in Dublin with my family too. I've got three sons, 9, 11, and 13. We live right outside of downtown. We're right in the middle of it. And we love the convenience of being right in the middle of everything, being able to get to the park so quickly, being able to have the farmer's market, half a block from us. There's just a lot of really great things about living in Dublin. I want to make sure that we preserve those.
Absolutely. And well, that's a great segue as well, Mayor, to my next question. And that is, what are you most proud of accomplishing in your time so far in office?
I think that we've built a great team, and it's nothing that I've done. It's just the working together. Like we have, anytime we had a lot of new council members. I was new as a mayor. We're just trying to figure out what everybody's interested in, what everybody's good at. And over the last couple of years, I feel like we've merged into a good team. We all have our different personalities and our different, interests, but I think we're working really well together. We're on the same page. We've bought into this vision of how to continue to improve Dublin. And I feel like we're working really well together. And that's probably the thing I'm proudest of is what a great spirit of teamwork and energy that we have in City Hall now.
Outstanding. Well, final question for you, Mayor, and then
Okay.
I'll let you get back to
All
the
right,
busy
great.
day. And again, thank you for your time.
Yeah,
today. It's
always
been a
happy
pleasure. As far as things that you're proud of for the city of Dublin, what are you most proud of for the city of Dublin?
Well, I am, it always comes down to relationships. And we talk about why people like living in a small town. It's because of all the positive relationships where you know people. And I will say that through all the good times and the bad times over the last 2.5 years, that the community of spiritual leaders has been a tremendous source of strength and encouragement through all those times. And I think that Dublin has, we've got lots of different denominations, lots of different churches. Sometimes they don't always get along, but you know what? And when times get tough, the spiritual leadership of this town, I think, has been really solid, and it has been a real blessing to me to have to see how people put things in perspective. When the times are tough, then around here, people are always looking to give you the spiritual support you need. And I think that's what I'm proudest of Dublin about.
Well, that's a wonderful place to end it right there. For Joshua Kight, our mayor here in the city of Dublin, Joe Powers, thank you guys for watching the Dublin News today. Thanks to our sponsors, and we'll see you again real soon. Mayor Kight, thank you so much.
All right, thank you.